Hello, I'm Anne Riddell, and this is Science and You. Stem cells are something of a biological marvel in the world of science, and researchers are discovering more and more ways to use them. Science and You found a biotech startup that is successfully turning stem cells into something that was once considered science fiction. Andrew Falzon has the story.
For decades, organ transplants and skin grafts have been helping people live longer, healthier lives, but we found a company here in Brooklyn that's taking science to a whole new level by growing custom bone here in a lab. A bandsaw probably isn't the first tool you'd think of when it comes to science that's literally on the cutting edge, but at EpiBone, it's the first step in coercing stem cells to become human bone. The company's goal is to grow bone from a patient's own stem cells so that it can be implanted with little or no fear of rejection.
There's a real desire to use the best that technology has to offer in way of stem cells and digital fabrication to help patients who need skeletal repair.
At the forefront of this new frontier is Dr. Nina Tandon, a self-professed academic who says her EpiBone colleagues regularly kick her out of the lab. She's the co-founder and CEO of EpiBone, with an impressive academic career that includes a bachelor's in electrical engineering from the prestigious Cooper Union and a master's in the same discipline from MIT. It was at Columbia where she completed her MBA in healthcare entrepreneurship after already earning a PhD in biomedical engineering, which is really learning to speak the language of cells.
You learn through these scientific studies what are those cytokines, what are those biological cues that the cells need in order to mature.
But before the language of cells is spoken in the lab, the first step is to get a CT scan from the patient who needs the bone. In the lab, stem cells are separated from adipose tissue or fat cells, which are taken from a patient's belly fat. Using the patient's own cells almost guarantees that a bone won't be rejected when implanted.
This is where cell source becomes important too, because not every type of stem cell can become every type of tissue.
Scientists at EpiBone then create a scaffold using either 3D printing or by decellularizing or stripping away the biological material from cow bones that have been cut down to size. From there, the scaffolding is placed inside a bioreactor, a custom fabricated plastic housing. Stem cells are pumped into the reactor and attached to the scaffold. They then get exposed to a biological soup, the recipe's secret, and that tells them what type of cell to turn into.
With bone cells, it's really important to deliver the right chemical cues. Yeah, so there's vitamins, there's lots of cytokines to get that chemical composition correct.
The growing bones are also exposed to constant force and pressure to help them become stronger. Each step in the process, whether it's physical or chemical, is telling the stem cells what to do.
Those all contain information that cells interpret, and those cells then are driven down different lineages based on that information.
And with the help of research associate Brian McKellar, we were able to see a before and after of the stem cells turning into bone cells.
This is a culture of stem cells that we took from adipose tissue, and they're growing on a plate, and this is the 2D plate they're adhered to.
And after being exposed to the same soup from the bioreactor, cells that turn blue when stained in the lab mean success.
This is alkaline phosphatase. This is one of the proteins that we know is an early marker for osteogenic differentiation, so the cells turning from stem cells into bone cells. And so you can see that these are cells that are specifically expressing this protein, and that shows that they're going along that lineage.
To date, EpiBone has successfully grown small human bones like the ones seen on this model skull. The team plans to start with smaller bones, which are easier to grow. They hope to begin clinical trials soon to see if their lab-grown bones can stand up for themselves in the real world. For Science and You, I'm Andrew Falzon.
What's real? What isn't? How we perceive and feel is based on our understanding of reality. So how does that play out in virtual reality? Beth Kovetz takes a deeper look at this exploding technology.
Virtual reality promises to bring a technological sea change. So where do we get it? How do we use it? And really, what is VR?
VR is a new interface Okay, people are making the mistake of seeing it as a new type of way of filming or a game, but you need to think of it as a new way human beings interact with the machine world. First were PCs, second was the internet, third wave was mobile, and the fourth wave is AR, VR, and MR, mixed reality. It's huge. We're putting people into a headset and they're entering an immersive world, 360 immersive world, completely away from the screen.
Apple, Amazon, Autodesk, Oculus, Intel, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, Samsung, and Sony are just a few of the tech giants furiously working on virtual technology. And, like the advent of the smartphone, there are a million changes this technology may bring. But for now, most of us will experience VR as entertainment. So let's take a look at how you watch it and how you make it. There's several ways to experience virtual reality. One of the least expensive is through this device called Cardboard. You stick your phone into here and off you go. The Cardboard platform was so successful that Google has created an upgraded version called Daydream. And since Google now owns YouTube, they have made it very easy to launch a 360 video through that site. And Wikipedia has jumped on board with the Wiki Museum. Using your VR headset, you can now walk through Wikipedia. What else you got?
Okay, my favorite is the HTC Vive. Give it a shot.
And when you put the headset on, you do in fact feel like you have stepped out of your current reality into another. It's important to note that all these systems or headsets require some additional piece of tech, a smartphone or a PC computer, to generate the VR experience. Cardboard, Daydream, and VR all require a smartphone, while the Vive pulls its graphics straight from your PC, and only your PC, not your Mac, which is too bad because the Vive has some very cool bells and whistles.
When you have the Vive headset on, these are used as hand controllers. Yes, to fire guns or lasers. Exactly.
I love it. The idea of VR has been around for a very long time, but the technology to create virtual worlds is just catching up to the dream of it. So, how is VR made?
The first way is through CG or computer graphics, computer-generated objects. Use 3D modeling software to create 3D objects in a 3D world. The second way is through films and shooting 360 films by using a 360 rig.
There is a myriad of 360 cameras on the market. Some feature a pair of fisheye lenses mounted back to back, while others have multiple standard lenses pointing in all directions. However you capture or create the image, you then need a bridge to send your new reality from your computer out into the world.
The most important bridge to VR is a game engine, such as Unity or Unreal Engine.
With the game engine, you add interactivity to your new world, and according to Powell, in this new reality, interactivity is the key to bringing VR to life.
Because no one just wants to see a box, a cube, sitting still in a headset. It's not interesting, right? You want to be able to spin the box. You want to be able to touch the box. You want to be able to push the box. You want to be able to grab the box and throw it, right? So you have to do all that programming within a game engine.
You might think all this technology puts video game builders in the best position to create virtual realities. But Powell thinks another, more ancient art form is best suited to the task.
It's closest to theater around, which is why theater people have such a jump in terms of understanding how to do 360 live action VR. The National Theatre in London has created an immersive storytelling studio just for VR because theater people understand and work with spatial media, so they understand the VR production process.
How would you describe VR to someone who's never tried it?
Let's say you're in a glass bubble. Okay, and someone lowers you down to the bottom of the ocean floor in that glass bubble and you can see everything and you feel like you're part of an environment, but you're safe, you can still breathe, and nothing hurts you. That's VR. So I think the sky's the limit.
For Science and You, this has been Lisa Beth Kovetz.
Dementia is heartbreaking at any age, but perhaps even more so when it strikes younger people. Donna Hanover has more about early onset dementia, how it affects patients and those who love them.
As I ask all of you to join me together, so we will win.
Hugely successful University of Tennessee women's basketball coach Pat Summitt captured the world's respect in a different way when she faced early onset dementia. She announced in August of 2011 at the age of 59 that she'd been diagnosed 3 months earlier. She started a foundation to fight Alzheimer's, coached 1 more year, and escorted by her son accepted the Arthur Ashe Courage Award at the 2012 ESPYs. She recently died at the age of 64. But Jed Levine, a leader of Caring Kind, formerly known as the Alzheimer's Association of New York, says her courage helped many people deal with the stigma of younger onset dementia.
When you have somebody like Pat Summitt, there was this sense of, good for you, and that I don't have anything to be ashamed of. This person who has really come to the height of her field, the most respected, women's basketball coach in America, and so loved, and making this statement and being very brave about it.
The most common form of dementia is Alzheimer's. About 500,000 people in the U.S. have early onset.
The impact of the disease on the individual and on their family is significantly different than when it happens when somebody is in their 70s or 80s. There is a sense of cognitive dissonance, the sense of, wait a minute, this can't be happening to me because I'm too young. I'm in my 40s or 50s. It's not supposed to happen to me now. So there is a sense of, I haven't prepared for this. And it happens at a time when many people are still in a career, at the prime of their career. They are also raising a family. They might have children who are in junior high school or sometimes younger.
Dr. Richard Mailloux, chair of neurology at New York Presbyterian Columbia University Medical Center, says at least 15% of people with early onset Alzheimer's got it because of genes they inherited. Mutations in 3 specific genes are the culprits in about half of those cases.
There are 3 known genes that have mutations that cause the early onset familial form of Alzheimer's disease. Well, if you inherit a mutation in APP, presenilin 1 or presenilin 2, you are virtually 100% likely to develop Alzheimer's disease. Early onset.
He says that we all make amyloid in our brains, that it is probably useful for tissue repair, and that our brains have ways to clear it. But mutations in these 3 genes make them cause an overproduction of amyloid.
And when that happens, the brain is unable to clear it under normal mechanisms. The protein then loses its structure, and unstructured proteins tend to fold and clump and then pack together in these so-called plaques.
There are also gene variations, not mutations, that increase the risk of early onset Alzheimer's.
This is something called apolipoprotein E, or ApoE as most people know it. Most of us have ApoE3, or at least we hope we do. And then if you happen to get ApoE4, you're at higher risk than someone who has ApoE3. If you happen to get 2 copies of ApoE4, one from your mother and then one from your father, your risk is increased by about 10-fold.
People with symptoms of dementia and their families can call the Caring Kind helpline for free assistance, which includes counseling, tips about medical centers with clinical trials, and aid in finding other people going through the same thing.
We have a support group specifically for people who are younger onset. When you have Alzheimer's disease and you're in your 50s, you feel like you're the only person out there. And when you come into a room and you see other people who are intelligent and smart and sophisticated, and there is a sense of connection and community and support that is really important.
Scientists believe studying the genetic mutations that cause early onset Alzheimer's may give them the answers in other cases as well. Columbia University Medical Center is one of 18 centers around the world that have joined together to study families with early onset, starting with relatives who have one of the mutated genes but no symptoms yet.
We know at some point they're going to develop the disease, and we're trying, number 1, to determine what are the first changes that occur, whether it's changes in the spinal fluid, the brain image, the MRI, or just their memory. And on top of that, we're testing some of these newer drugs to see if we can prevent or delay the onset of symptoms in these individuals.
Meanwhile, many people with early onset dementia and their families get very involved in advocating for more scientific research into the disease. That approach gives them purpose, and all of us hope that this disease may one day be preventable. I'm Donna Hanover for Science and You.
Keeping our minds and bodies healthy, we hear about the importance of regular exercise for us on both fronts. But for many people, it's easy to find excuses, not enough time or not enough money for a gym. So how about a workout you can do without any equipment in a very small space? even as small as a prison cell.
All right, so I start off all my workouts with a little warm-up. We're gonna start off with a twisted jumping jack. I actually created this thing in my prison cell where I'm gonna put 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, hands by my side. All right, I'm gonna go 1, 2.
Do the time. They are words to live by for Cos Marte, a former self-described drug dealer turned fitness entrepreneur. He developed his so-called prison-style workout in jail and now uses the pared-down but hardcore training method to get his clients into shape.
So this is what we work with. It's like open floor mat. We don't even use shoes here. And like all we require you is to do the time.
Does it work? Cos says he's living proof. When he arrived in prison, he learned his physical health had hit the danger zone, and he was only 24 years old.
Well, they said that my cholesterol levels were they were in such dangerous levels that I needed to start working out or eating correctly, or I was gonna die of a heart attack within 5 years.
In prison?
In prison. I was sentenced to 7, and I did the math, and I said, I'm not gonna die in this place. So that really motivated me to start moving. I quickly went back to my cell and started doing like dips on the side of my bed and exercising, and then running the prison yard every day. And I quickly like progressed, and I lost 70 pounds after that in 6 months.
During a dark and difficult chapter in solitary confinement, Cos says he reached a turning point.
I started feeling that I was creating a web of destruction. I was not only affecting my son and my family, but I was affecting the thousands of people that I sold drugs to, and I started realizing that they had families too, and I started praying and asking, like, how can I get back to society? I had an idea of like this, I could come home and start this like prison-style boot camp that hires formerly incarcerated people. And I said, this is what I'm gonna do.
Once released, Cos was determined to make that vision a reality, but it was not an easy transition.
I didn't have anything. I didn't have money. I had my mom's couch, and I had a dream, and I went out to the park and started doing the training across the street. Eventually just kept pitching people on the street. And then eventually opened up this space in the exact same corner where I used to sell drugs at. There you go, nice. Nice, good job, Carolyn, let's go. Give me 10. Okay. No, give me 20. Let's go, come on.
Inside the prison-themed studio, the workout is tough, very tough.
I can feel it.
Yes.
For Cos, this is a life that has in some ways come full circle. The chance to build a business around health and fitness, and at the same time, hire formerly incarcerated people.
You know, life gave me a second chance, and now I'm giving so many other people second chances, and it's just been a real blessing.
And with us now is our good friend, Dr. Max Gomez. Max, it is so great to see you.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
So it's interesting in that story, as we saw, he was really able to do so much with very little. Is that generally true for the rest of us?
You know, that really is the beauty of exercise. Is you don't need to go to an expensive gym to do this. You need maybe a pair of sneakers, and sometimes not even that. There are ways you can do this, whether it's in a jail cell, at home, in your bedroom. There are a lot of ways and places to get some activity. And you don't need a lot of activity. You just need to be kind of regular with your activity, and every little bit helps.
Bottom line, Max, how much of a game changer is exercise for our health?
You can't overemphasize it, or
Wow.
you can't exaggerate it. Exercise is probably the single most powerful drug or medicine that we have.
Wow,
It
really?
is that important. It really is. And what's interesting is we don't necessarily know exactly how it does it, but it has been shown to be effective against depression. It prevents cancer. Obviously, we know about heart disease and lung disease and so forth. Helps you lose weight, which is also going to help you lower your blood pressure. It is good across the board for so many things. And studies just keep coming out time after time. There's a study out now, just out now in a journal of psychiatry, that says that exercise helps raise a brain chemical that is related to depression during pregnancy and postpartum.
Wow, that's really interesting. I want to get back to that issue, but before we do, you were mentioning about we don't know exactly why exercise is so good for us on all counts, but what is from a scientific perspective, what's sort of happening to our bodies when we exercise that potentially causes all these benefits?
Well, some of it, a little bit of it we know, a lot of it we don't know.
Right.
Clearly it releases chemicals. We all know about the runner's high,
Yeah.
the endorphins that are released in the brain that are sort of like, they mimic morphine actually, and heroin in a way. But that gives you that runner's high. So we know it releases certain hormones and things. Some of it we don't quite understand. For example, exercise is now being tested at Memorial Sloan Kettering as a prescription for cancer patients. We know that physically active women who have had breast cancer, the ones who are physically active are less likely to have a recurrence of their breast cancer. So now they're actually testing it as a prescription, putting some women with their best practices, do everything that they normally do, and then others that do the same thing, only they add in a prescription for exercise.
It's amazing to think how powerful it is.
It is amazing, and again, we don't really know how it does what it does in terms of cancer, but it seems to actually help prevent cancer and even perhaps even prevent recurrence of cancer.
I know you're always on top of all the latest developments. What do we know now about how much exercise you have to do to actually get some benefit from it?
Every little bit counts and every little bit helps. More is better up to a point. More is better than less. But even just getting up once an hour when you're at your desk at your computer, getting up and just taking a lap around the office, going down to the bathroom, down the hall or whatever, all of that helps. We call it sitting is the new smoking. That's how bad it is to
I've
not be
heard that,
active.
and it's a pretty strong statement.
It really is. And there are studies that actually verify the risk factors there, that sitting really is essentially like smoking. But even being a weekend warrior, there's a new study out also now that says even being a weekend warrior and getting some exercise in the weekends actually helps. A lot of us have trouble finding time to do it during the week.
Sure,
Or
it's
you're
not
too
easy.
tired, it's a long days, got a lot of stuff going on. Do something on the weekend. The only thing that you got to remember about that is you got to go slow and be careful, because it's easier to get hurt when you're only doing it 1 or 2 days a week.
Speaking from experience, Max?
Once in a while, yeah. I've been known to be a little sore after doing a little too much
Me
on the
too,
weekend.
me too,
Yeah.
my friend, no question. So let's get back to the issue of the other kinds of benefits, because you also hear about exercise being good for us emotionally, being good for us mentally. I know that I feel much better. It's big for me in terms of when I get to a spin class or when I don't.
Yeah.
I think my kids like me better when I do. What's behind that?
Again, it releases hormones in the brain, and that's part of what makes you feel better. It gives you that sort of general sense of well-being, but also, and because it's releasing things that are affecting all parts of your body, but also I think it just makes us feel better, like we're better people, we've done something.
An accomplishment.
An accomplishment, and we're doing something that we know is good for our health. And that then translates into being better for our kids, for our spouses, for our relatives, for all of our relationships. If you feel better about yourself, you're going to be a better person interacting with other people.
And as we wrap it up, Max, we have to always say what is important to know as a baseline for all of us before we start.
It's always
exercise
important,
program.
especially if you've been inactive for a very long time. Check with your doctor to make sure that your heart's okay, your joints are okay, that sort of a thing. Especially if you're somewhat overweight, you got to start a little bit slow, and that's always a good idea. Start slow. You can't make up for years and years of inactivity, with one sudden burst of a really big workout.
Sure.
Start slow, because otherwise, if you get hurt, then you stop, and then you really haven't accomplished anything. Check with the doctor, and then start slow and ease into it, and a little bit every day is really good for you.
All right, great advice. Thank you, Max, so much for coming.
My pleasure.
Come back again.
I will.
All right, thanks. From exercise to your diet, if you're feeling low or tired all the time, the cause might just be what you choose to eat. Mike Gilliam explains how food can affect your mood.
Can the foods we eat affect the way we feel, change our moods? To get some answers, we're talking to an expert here at New York University's Department of Nutrition.
Absolutely. It's not like a certain food makes you feel happy or a certain food makes you feel sad. It's really dietary patterns.
Meet Lisa Sasson. She's a registered dietitian and on the clinical faculty in New York University's Department of Nutrition and Food Studies. Sasson says the goal is to jumpstart the day with a proper breakfast.
Having a very sugary breakfast, a lot of added sugars, pastries, sweets, that can really bring your blood levels down, your blood sugar levels down, and make you feel sluggish after a while because there's so much sugar, and all that sugar rush then goes right into your cells, and it keeps you at a very low sugar level in your blood, and you kind of feel hungry and you don't really feel that alert.
She says there's a better way.
Let's change that breakfast. Let's have coffee, and let's have whole wheat toast with a smear of peanut butter and have a piece of fruit, and all of a sudden you feel more energetic, you feel more alert because you have healthy fats, healthy carbohydrates, and and protein, and your blood sugar level is going to stabilize.
Sasson says your blood sugar levels are not going to go up and down because you're not putting all the added sugars into your system that you would if you had, say, a muffin and a soda to start the day. And even though she included coffee in her breakfast menu, Sasson says, watch the caffeine intake.
The problem is if you drink too much coffee. Because of caffeine, it can make you feel really jittery and nervous, and that could affect your mood.
And she warns caffeine is lurking everywhere.
There's caffeine in tea, coffee, obviously, and a lot of these sweetened beverages have a lot of caffeine, and any beverage usually that says it's an energy drink, gives you energy, usually what it means is there's caffeine in it.
There are other dietary changes you can make to improve how you feel, including getting some omega-3 fatty acids into your regimen. Some studies say there may be a link in how some people who suffer from clinical depression process omega-3s.
Omega-3 is really important. The research is really linked to depression, clinical depression, but people should still be getting good sources of omega-3 fatty acids in their diet because there may be a link with mood.
Now you can find those omega-3s in nuts like walnuts, flaxseed, fish like sardines, and some green vegetables. We hear a lot about adding vitamin B to our diets, but Sasson says for the vast majority of us, that's not necessary because it's added in so many processed foods like bread and cereal. And on the subject of cereals, she says keep the kids off the brightly colored products at the store.
You shouldn't be eating foods that's neon green and shocking pink.
Sasson has some tips for eating that will make you feel better when added to solid sleep and plenty of liquids.
Have lots of colorful fruits and vegetables. That's where a lot of the different vitamins and minerals are. Make sure you have balanced meals that have a good source of healthy carbohydrates like oatmeal or whole grains. Brown rice. These are really healthy carbohydrates and good sources of healthy protein, which could include fish, beans like hummus, eggs, peanut butter, and healthy fats, avocado, olive oil, nuts. These are all healthy fats. By having a balance of all these different nutrients, you're going to feel good, your blood sugar level is going to be stable, and you're going to feel better.
So the bottom line is the decisions you make about what you eat or put into your tank over the course of the day could have a major impact on how you feel and your mood overall. I'm Mike Gilliam for Science and You.
And that's our show for today. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Anne Riddell. We'll see you next time on Science and You.